was, I think, an out-of-body in the dream state.
All right.
And I was laying on my back and rising rapidly as though I were in an elevator. And I had the view of going through layers very quickly.
Hey.
And when I stopped, I was standing up, and in front of me was standing a man who was about my height and had black hair, a very black beard, very deep blue eyes, and there were white buildings and water behind him. And as he looked at me, I had the feeling that he extended his hands, but he didn't actually extend his hands. But the feeling that he gave me was intense empathy and love that the word love can't describe.
Hey, I know what you mean.
About a month after this, I started getting electric blue light on people, on things I was reading, on the ceiling, when I was thinking about things. And I've never really been able to figure out what it is. It's just a very comfortable thing.
Well, it is the electromagnetic field, in a sense. It is the mentality field, in a sense. As we have shared with your people many times, the idea is that as you increase your sensitivity, as your senses become more acute, as you accelerate and become less physicalized, you become more sensitive to the actual perception of energy itself in its raw form, if you will. So many of you will begin to perceive more color, more light, the electromagnetic field itself. Your senses are broadening to see what was once invisible to you. You follow me?
Yes, it is.
So the blue-white electromagnetic light is particularly precisely representative of your mentality field. The electromagnetic field is what your consciousness intersects and creates what you call mind from. So you are all immersed in this mental sea that is electromagnetism. That is one of the manifestations of the interaction of consciousness with the idea you call physical reality. And it creates the web or the matrix in which your mentality is embedded and interconnected with all other minds. So you are beginning to see this web. You are becoming more sensitive to it. And you are recognizing communication as it occurs along these lines. Now, those are the flashes of light, in a sense. You're seeing your consciousness itself in action as it interfaces, if you will, with your physical reality.
Okay. Who was this entity that I saw?
Our perception at this time is that it is someone who can function as a guide, someone who has been a mentor for you also in times past. There is a particularly strong Atlantean connection in many ways, and there is also a particularly strong future self connection in many ways. It is a multiple identity at this time, and one that can simply function as a mirror to lure you into more recognition of yourself. That, for now, is all we can say, though other individuals may be able to provide you with more ideas of precise labeling if you find that necessary. But that is not our job at this time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Happy dreams. Happy dreams. Shooting.
Hi, Bashar.
Hi.
I wanted to know if you could give me more insight as to why I picked my family.
What are you learning about yourself in the relationships that you are in? That is why you picked them.
You're asking me what I'm learning?
All relationships are done by agreement.
Right.
You pick everyone, and you do so for the purpose of allowing that individual, in being who they are, to reflect to you certain ideas that you need to work with to grow as the individual you are, and vice versa. Everyone is reflections of each other. Now, this does not mean that everyone is an absolute one-to-one mirror, and that the things they are doing are the things you need to work on. But the things they are doing create an atmosphere in which you need to be in order to learn and extract from that atmosphere the things you need to learn about yourself. So you can be who you chose to be.
But we're very disparate.
Yes, so. Many individuals, particularly in your civilization, will choose to align themselves with other individuals that have quite strong polarity points of view, so they will have something to push against to ensure they become who they want to be.
Thank you. That was my feeling, and I
Now, This does not mean it must remain so. And much of the methodology we have described is only the habitual ritual of your society that is not empowered within itself. Once you understand that you have made all these choices and that you are learning and that these individuals are, in a sense, being of service to you, you can choose other ways to play the scenario out. It does not have to be one of coming head to head. You follow me?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I do.
Does that assist you?
Yes.
Unconditional love and trust that everyone is playing their part. Unconditional trust that it is not that they have to change, but that any change you desire to make will then be the reality you experience. And if you wish to see anything change in your reality outside yourself, change yourself, you will then, by changing yourself to be who you wish to be, give them the best opportunity to change along with you if they so desire to. If they so desire to. But only by being who you know you are do you give them an opportunity to do so. Because then you are being completely honest with them in the relationship about who they are in the relationship with.
I understand.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Shooting!
The late Amy Seidel.
Where did you go?
Where I've always been, right here.
Thank you.
I wanted to clarify something that went on at Mount Shasta.
All right.
Or
Go
rather,
right ahead and clarify.
All right. When we were all crowded in together in the van, some of us were sleeping and some of us were awake. I thought I was awake. I thought I was meditating.
Yes.
But maybe I was asleep.
Again, this is becoming a very nebulous definition at this time. Asleep, awake, dream, physical reality, they are all blending into one. And ultimately, it will not make much difference where the information comes from. Many of you have already begun to realize that certain things that are in your memory, you are unaware or unable to be aware of whether you dreamed them or actually thought them in a waking state. This is a part of the blending idea. Does it really make a difference where it came from?
It doesn't make a difference to me, but the thing that I wanted to clarify was that I was not frightened.
All right.
When the being reached into the van to take my shoulder, I
Yes.
thought, I had sort of thought it was going to be like Cocoon, where they were going to beam up the whole van at once, you see. And, or like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, where we would just all go up, or say, beam us up, Scotty. You know, I thought we were all going up together. And when he reached in just to take me, I thought, oh no, we've all waited for this.
But you all were together in your own way.
But I didn't see him reaching for anybody else.
That's because that vibration was for you. The ones that were reaching for other individuals were on different frequencies, and you didn't need to see them.
Okay, well, I really couldn't see anything anyway because it was dark and we were all...
You know what I mean.
Yes, no, but I
what
mean, I
you
was not
experience,
conscious.
no matter on what level you experience it, is your reality experience. Now, sometimes you can create a cohesive one that seems to evolve other individuals.
Mm-hmm.
But still, the idea is that you are all in it together, but each of you will experience it in your own way at the same time. That is how multidimensional you are.
Well, it was a thrilling experience, and it's one that I'll never forget.
Well, thank you.
And
It still is a thrilling experience, and there is no need to forget it if you continue to live it.
well, I'm living it continually.
Thank you very much.
That, I just wanted to clarify that. What I wanted to express, and the question that I wanted to ask had something to do about what happened on the river. We went down to the river to gather some rocks, and we were separated for a time because we were trying to find a place where we could sun ourselves. And one of the men had gone on ahead, and Karen and I were there alone. And we found a rock where we could sunbathe, and she went ahead to get on the rock, and as I picked up my clothes and everything, was going down the riverbank, I suddenly felt David's presence right there, and he was not there. He was out running in the woods somewhere. But his presence was so strong that I started to turn and say his name, and at that instant there was a wind that came, and it was, I feel a spirit wind. It just went whoosh,
Oh,
and it
very
was
good.
well. And in that instance that I heard and I felt the wind, I called out to Karen as well, because I felt that the three of us were just there together. And I said, Karen, and she was suddenly right there on the rock beside me, and she said, I'm down here, but it was like as if it were from a distance. And then I heard like a rattle, like a medicine rattle.
Right.
And it really, I want to say shook me up. It really did literally shake me,
Right.
because I was shaking. And when I went down to the rock, I said, I just had the strangest experience, and I feel that the three of us have been here before, and that's, or maybe our vibrations are on the land or something, and that's why we feel so
Right,
drawn
right.
here.
Very good.
Was I anywhere close to the truth?
First of all, again, remember, the truth is relative in that sense, and all truths are true. But yes, you have existed in what you call Native American cultures in that area very often. Gathering of the herbs, preparing of the medicines in that way. You have sunned yourself many times on that rock.
I felt it.
Then why did you ask me?
I'm still,
Oh, all right, all right.
you know,
Yeah,
I mean, when I'm as
just
smart as
playing
you
with
are, I
you.
won't have to ask these questions.
Well,
But I'm learning,
yes, I know.
you know, and I'm just
Thank you for
verifying
allowing us
it.
to play around with it.
Well, it happened a lot this weekend. I mean, we had a lot of sharing. It was beautiful, and thank you.
Oh,
Pardon?
one moment. Kachina dreams for you. Open your gate. This night of your time, some communication. Kachina dreams, which shall also be the subject next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Bashar. Thank you for coming to the mountain and for allowing us to interact with you.
And you with us.
And next time we'll go to your place, okay?
Many of you in dreams already have been many times.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sharing.
Someone's got a white Toyota back.
Hello, Bashar.
Hello.
A couple of weeks ago on the news, they had like a special newscast, and they showed a dolphin whale.
Hey.
And I was wondering if this was the first one, or are there more that we don't know about?
There are some rare occurrences of this in what you would call your natural ocean. But it is also still relatively rare, and in this way does represent some of the old blending going on within each and every one of you. Once again, reminding you that the dolphin is very similar to the individuals that you are and is the same type of soul, and that the whale represents the collective consciousness embodied. So as you blend into your collective consciousness in your way, they begin to blend into their collective consciousness in their way. And it is a symbol that can reflect this idea for you as well.
Okay. Also, yesterday I was really mad at my mother
All right.
because I was grounded. And if I was going to go over to my friend's house, that I'd get another day, and that we'd have to return the favor for her to sleep over at my house. So I didn't want 2 more days, so I decided that I didn't want her to sleep over, and I didn't want to spend the night over at her house.
All right.
So I wanted to go get some books so I can finish my wildflower report. And I rode my bike, and my gears changed unexpectedly.
Oh, yeah.
And
Very simple symbol.
and I fell off the bike. I hit my head.
Yeah.
My glasses flew, and I scraped my arm and my leg.
How exciting.
And today, when I went to school, everybody asked me what happened because you can see
Yeah.
a couple scrapes on my arm. And they noticed that one of the spirits on my arm is a heart shape.
My, my.
And I'm
You
wondering-
know all of this makes perfect sense to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know that shifting gears does not have to be abrasive, and that you can do it smoothly with love. We know you are capable of this, and we know you are having a wonderful time, all in all. Does that assist you?
Yes.
Thank you for your sharing,
Yes, sir.
and thank you for the many exciting endeavors that you will create in your life, and the connections that you will make. Your vibration is very strong in that way, and a very strong communicator you are and will be. So thank you. Happy pedaling. Sharing.
Good morning, Bashar.
Good morning.
Thank you. When Friend and Tora were here, I asked Tora a question about my head, and I was telling her I was getting pains on my right side of my head, and she said something to the effect of my critic, and I examined that, and I didn't feel like I was heavy-handing with the critic or whatever. And the pains were getting worse lately, and I heard about the mercury fillings, and I was going to get my fillings replaced with the crystalline, and now it turns like I have an abscess or something, and I've been in a lot of pain lately, and I was wondering if you could share anything that I could. I don't like taking pills, but I realize that they're quite nice tools for not feeling pain.
That is up to you. We
Well,
can neither suggest one route or another.
I
in
would
that
like
sense.
to not take pills.
All right. The idea, to some degree, if you wish, of quartz crystals under strong blue light placed on or near the teeth, and fluorite crystals can be of some assistance in changing the electromagnetic flow and rerouting the idea of pain impulse in your mouth area. However, some of this may be indicative of allowing you an opportunity to examine some of your very deeply rooted belief systems, to bring them to the surface. And you are in the middle of a process that we cannot at this time really assist you much with because you are in the middle of it. You must still explore the idea of the things that are yet to come and the interactions you will have with other individuals who may be of what you call medical assistance to you, in allowing you to alleviate those pains, those blockages within what you call your root system. But it will be symbolic in our perception of bringing to the surface some of the beliefs that are very deeply rooted within you, and allow you to examine them as you go through this process. To some degree, the idea of the critic that was presented to you is correct, but not in the way you think of it. You will discover, as we perceive in your energy, through this process of digging these things out and bringing them into the light, that there are many levels deep within you that perhaps you hesitate on still in certain ways, and this, to some degree, is a facility of the critic, holding back in certain ideas on deeper levels. But the fact that you have now arrived at these very deep levels shows that you have made a great deal of progress, and now you are willing to face these ideas and look at them and bring them into the light. In this sense, the critic is only involved in that it is passing through what you may call a perfunctory mode of passing a last judgment upon yourself before you are through with that aspect entirely. But this process will continue for a little while. You will find a very rapid change within the next 3 days, and within what you call the idea of your next 3 weeks, you will be in an entirely different modality altogether, and in your consciousness will have come to light some of the understandings and the reasons for what it is you are about to find digging around in those roots.
Okay, I just wanted to share that one of the tools that you've given us, and I have it written on my wall at home, is that everything is synchronicity, and all you have to do is act like it. And all this pain, I'm going, this is all synchronicity. This is going to be, you know, something always.
We are never saying, ever saying, that you have to have pain. But if you have it, use it as synchronicity, and you give it the best opportunity to evaporate most quickly. Because it is driving you to examine certain things that you need to discover deep within you.
Okay. And in regards to the fluoride, I would like to share that been a year since I've been coming and listening and enjoying you. And I've been on those little rock paths, and lately I'm getting into making gem elixirs, and fluorite was the one that I did make. I was between emerald and fluorite, and at the last one I made fluorite. And
You know what you are doing. You have been in many ways an apothecary before, and you are bringing some of this understanding back to light in a different way. An Atlantean knowledge it is, an Atlantean knowledge it will be once again.
I love it.
Thank you. Shine bright.
Thank you.
Sharing.
Good morning, Bashar.
Good morning. A beautiful day, is it not?
Yes, it is. Have you ever smelled any of our flowers? I wanted to
In a
share
sense,
this.
only telepathically.
Would it be of service to you to offer you to smell this?
It will be felt in the same way it has been felt, in the sense that it exists within the memory core of the channel, and from there we have already extracted it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much for the lovely fragrance of your consciousness.
Thank you. In the last 6 months that I have been coming here, I have experienced tremendous joy and acceleration and knowingness and all the wonderful things that many others have come up here and talked about.
Well, thank you.
But
But
there
not and but
there has been an acceleration of a condition, a physical condition within me that has sort of come to a head and come to my consciousness in the last week that I wanted to ask you about. For about 12 years, I've been experiencing what I would call an attack. I get this very bad pain right in where I think my heart is. It feels like a band is just squeezing very tightly. I get pains in my jaws and have sort of trouble breathing, and I've probably had about 15 or 20 in that whole time. In this 6 months, I've probably had 4 or 5, so it's been accelerating. The last one that I manifested was on last Monday night, among a group of friends, many of whom are psychic and clairvoyant and so on. And it was one of the worst ones and one of the longest ones. And afterwards, a number of the people came over to me and shared with me that they felt that this was really a serious condition and that I should really look into it.
have you done so?
No, I do not want to go to doctors. I would prefer. I believe that if I have manifested this, then I can unmanifest it.
That is correct. However, do not deny within yourself that certain belief systems may still be attached to your society in what you call typical ways, and we are not necessarily saying that in beginning to pursue them that they will necessarily have to be carried through to an ultimate ending. But along the way, you may discover the things you need to discover. Now, you can deal with yourself and balance yourself electromagnetically, and that can assist you. We would suggest, however, that because you created around yourself an individual or group of individuals that gave you this suggestion, then to some degree it is representative of certain aspects of your belief systems that you do need to look at, do need to examine, and do need to explore. Not, again, that you will necessarily avail yourself of those attributes all the way out, playing them all the way to the end, but acting on them to begin with may put you more closely in touch with what your true belief systems are, and then knowing what your true belief systems are can allow you to use them as a tool to alleviate the symptoms. You follow me?
Yeah.
Also, you are becoming more increasingly sensitive to electromagnetic shiftings, which usually play themselves out in the sinus and the heart area. There are many geological changes taking place upon your planet, and you will find that there is an increase in sensitivity within the sinus cavities and within the heart area of many individuals as they are sensitive to the low-frequency vibrations in the heart and the electromagnetic shiftings because of the magnetite in your sinuses, which can induce shooting pains into your jaw area along some of the nerve impulses and create similar ideas to the idea you call heart attack symptoms. But we simply suggest that you pursue certain ideas. Not that you have to absolutely, again, find yourself following them all the way through, but to some degree we sense within you a resistance to following those beliefs, and that in and of itself, to some degree, is indicative that there is something there you do need to look at. Fear not. You will not fall under the knife.
Thank you.
The way that was said has meaning, specifically for you.
I understand.
All right.
One other thing that I wanted to share with you that I found extremely interesting was that during this week and after being told that this really might be a life-threatening situation, I really looked at that with the attitude of, all right, what have I learned from this? And the interesting thing that I learned was that I've been very aware that I am still not doing what excites me the most in my work. And I felt a lessening of self-love for myself because of this, and a lot of a combination of patience and criticism and work around that, I guess you could say.
All right. So you are tightening these bands upon yourself in many ways.
Okay, yes.
No need for self-recrimination. And the idea of the self-recrimination is not because of what you discovered. It has no connection. You simply have chosen to recriminate yourself regardless of what you have discovered in that way.
Okay. The interesting thing that I discovered, though, was that when I thought about that I might die, that I realized that that there would really be a hole if I left, that those that cared about me and that would miss me not because I was doing the work that I want to do, which is why I love myself more or less or something, but that they would really miss me because of who I was. And that was a very interesting thing for me to realize, that on one hand I want to be doing this that excites me the most, and that would in some way give me more self-love, but that those who loved me didn't love me because of that I was doing what excited me, but that they loved me because of who I was, and that they would miss me not because I was doing that work.
What is the difference?
Well, it made a big difference to me in I guess, the ability to love myself, and feeling that even though I wasn't giving out in the way that my excitement says I should be giving out, I'm still giving out by being myself in another way entirely.
Oh, absolutely. Of course, always, all of you, always can be nothing but yourself. There is no one else you can be. But the idea of doing what excites you is consciously acting like your full self.
Yes, I do understand.
All right. Now, have you determined that the restraints upon your clock that you have imposed upon yourself will now allow you to step more lively in the direction of the things that excite you if you think you don't have as much time as you thought you did to do it?
Well, the interesting thing is that when I thought that I might not have as much time, I wasn't as interested in doing that. There were things that I felt I wanted to do with those that I loved. I wanted to really be and share and give in a more personal way to those I loved, and I could forego that other excitement that came after the people I loved.
Allow yourself to understand that they are, in a sense, one and the same thing, and that there is more than enough room for what you typically call both avenues of expression. You have simply come from a place of thinking that they are mutually exclusive, and they aren't. You do not have to decide on one over the other. When you simply act in all directions upon your excitement and unconditional love, everything will have enough time to exist in your life. All the things you wish to do, and all the individuals you wish to do them with.
How do I manifest that mentally?
By using your heart. By manifesting it emotionally. By manifesting it within your belief, that you simply recognize that everything occurs in perfect timing. And therefore you are giving yourself with this episode an opportunity to learn that there really is no such thing as not enough time. Therefore you can extend yourself, quote unquote, towards the individuals you wish to extend yourself towards, and you can do the things that excite you at the same time. And that they are enhancing to each other and not exclusive of each other.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
Just live it. all things that you can imagine that represent your excitement and integrity. Live them.
Well, what's been happening is that I feel like I'm not doing what really excites me because there's always all these other things that I'm doing that I want to do, but then that sort of gets put in the background. There's all these other things, to be with friends, to work in the yard, to work and make money, and all these things.
One more time. When you do what excites you the most, you will be doing the thing that represents most precisely who you are. And when you do the thing that represents most precisely who you are, there will be time for everything else you really want to do. It will all fit into the overall energy. You don't have to make room. Everything has enough room. Do the grandest thing, and everything else fits. You follow me?
I hear you and I understand it.
Stop. If you hear it, you understand it. Assume you understand it however you need to, and you will start to see that you do understand it on all levels.
All right.
Stop acting as if it is difficult to understand it just because you don't understand it on different levels like you have been taught to think you should understand it. You do understand it, so start living as if you understand it, and in the doing, what will come out in your actions will be the obviousness that you do, in fact, in an ingrained and intuitive way, understand everything we are saying.
Okay.
The action is the thing. Do the thing that excites you the most. It is as simple as that.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sharing.
Good dawn, Bashar.
Good dawn.
Mount Shasta was so... Good dawn, Bashar.
Good dawn.
Mount Shasta was so exciting.
Still is.
Yes, thank you. The day after the light show and the craft that I saw, I had some assistance to open my heart chakra in an alignment and attunement chamber. And towards the end of the session, I used a synchro energizer over my eyes, and I saw many colors and mandalas as I spiraled upwards. Where did I go when I ascended?
Right here. But into a fuller version of right here, which then includes all the other dimensional levels of your consciousness. You are beginning to recognize the actual patterns of energy that form physical materiality. You understand?
Yes.
You are simply extending yourself into more of yourself right here. Remember, no one ever really goes anywhere. It is all right here, right now. You are simply becoming more right here, more right now. That is where you went.
Okay. At the end of the March 15th workshop, you said, Heliakar, Demashana.
Heliakar.
What does that mean?
The experience of one is the experience of all. The word Iliakar in our ancient language literally means mirror image. Image of the mirror. Ili. Akar. That is also loosely translated as the word experience. To see around you is to know what is within. Thank you. Shouting.
Yeah, well, Bashar, all in all, I think we're all having a pretty good time tonight.
All in all.
Right.
Hey.
I kind of missed it.
Kinda. More
right.
kinda.
A couple of weeks ago, I planned on coming, and I had my car in the garage getting the body fixed.
Nice.
Last week, I was in the hospital getting this body fixed. First time kidney stone or whatever.
Right.
So I really enjoyed being here tonight. I finally made it, but I kind of got a rough idea, too, kind of, why I wasn't here when I did.
All right. Do share.
A couple of months ago, I asked you, kind of stupidly, do I have a spirit guide?
It's not stupid. There are no stupid questions.
Well, okay. Anyway, since then, I have a whole group of them. I have three ladies and two men who I can talk to 24 hours a day, anytime I want, wide open, awake.
25 hours a day if you wish.
That too. And I have others flowing in and out and visiting and watching. And one of them, I believe he said his name was Sia. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. He knows you. He lived on your planet or so forth. I don't know if you rings a bell. I believe I'm pronouncing it Sia.
The term specifically in our ancient language is Sio,
Sio.
which means first.
Okay, but he said he knows you. Or
The vibrational pattern
Right.
has something to do with our civilization, but not completely.
Very good. So anyway, I have well, call it a combination poem and humor for Esasani. It
All
goes,
right.
as I was walking up the stairs, I met a man who wasn't there. He wasn't there again today. I wish the hell he'd go away. Would that... You got to think about that when it's deep. Okay.
Thank you for discovering who that man is.
Okay. Well, the only question that I have a lot of them, but the only one I was really going to ask you, the one thing I've noticed in the last couple of weeks since I've been doing all this channeling, I am scattered. I can't keep my attention span on anything very long. Even sitting here,
right.
I'm flipping up and around and back and forward.
Then our suggestion is to stop thinking in terms of all the different labels and just treat it all as one energy for now.
Yes, I did, and this is, well, I wasn't looking at that one. I have Gregory as a solid, and I have my individual people who I am able to talk to and converse with and so forth.
Treat it all as one. All. The labels are what is scattering it. Treat it all as one. 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 First. Theo. One.
Hey, that's very interesting. I like that.
Thank you.
Okay, and thank you.
You're welcome.
Good night.
Good day.
Well, depends what kind of
Thank you. Shooting!
Good evening, Bashar. I wonder what you could tell us about mermaids and mermen.
Thank you. Some of this idea, to some degree, is a quote-unquote symbolic interpretation of interaction between serious consciousness and your own consciousness, in that you see them as amphibious in nature, even though they are not literally so in your physical terms. They exist in what you would call an energy form in an energy sea, and so when their communications have interacted with your world, generally you will cross the concepts of physicality and non-physicality, and usually you translate their telepathic communications as amphibious in nature. This, to some degree, has given rise to the symbol of the mermaid, merman. However, at the same time, you will find it is also a memory of Atalantean time, when there were, in your terms, genetic experiments that did create beings to some degree of that nature. Not as you colloquially think of them, but close.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. It also, to some degree, represents a blending between your humanity and the dolphin consciousness, because they are very highly connected to the Sirius energy as well. Thank you. Shooting!
Hello, Bashar.
Hello!
Since my childhood, I've had an extremely intense spider phobia.
Oh.
When I'm in the same space as a spider, I break out into a sweat, I tremble, I have all kinds of physical manifestations.
Do you know that that is exactly what this physical channel used to have?
Oh, I didn't. That's interesting.
Yes.
Does that mean there's hope? Because I've tried different therapies and nothing works.
Well, perhaps one of the best therapies is to dispense with hope. And to allow yourself to recognize what it signifies for you directly. First of all, how powerful do you recognize that you are?
I recognize that I'm very powerful.
All right. Powerful enough to do anything you wish at all.
Yes.
All right. Do you recognize the idea of how many connections you have?
Connections to...
Everything.
Yes. That we're all one.
Yes.
That's why when I'm forced to eventually kill a spider in order to be able to cohabitate in the same area, I suffer intense guilt.
All right. All right. Now, it can represent many things. One is being at the hub, at the center of a web, of a matrix. Knowing and recognizing your connection extends in an octave of directions. That it to some degree represents, however, in your society, some portions of the unconscious or the subconscious self that you may still fear to bring fully to the surface to represent all the connections you actually have. To some degree, it is also a very ancient Orion symbol on your Earth. In the sense of bringing to the surface some of those ancient connections that you may not wish to bring to the surface, but which, if you do, will assist you in balancing and blending the polarities so that you can then differentiate between the positive and the negative and choose which one you prefer. The lack of willingness to integrate that symbol in your life may simply be a belief within you that bringing some of those old connections into the present will overwhelm you with the old negative effects when they do not really have to. You can cohabitate with the old you by simply recognizing with your conscious commandment which you prefer to be, and then equalizing and validating all the yous you have ever been so you can complete the octave you are in and move on to the next one. The spider represents, to some degree, a symbolic keeper, a gatekeeper of some of that old knowledge, some of the old recognitions of power that in your past life connections led to many negative acts. You follow me?
Yes.
Is this assisting you so far?
Yes, very much.
What imaginings and pictures are you having as we are describing this scenario?
Well, just that another entity told me that throughout all of my past lives, I've been struggling between gentleness and power. So when you mentioned power, it triggered that memory.
All right. Let me, if I may, supply a symbol that can give you some affinity for the symbol of the spider consciousness. Imagine yourself now sitting at a loom. You understand? Loom.
Yes.
Weaving a tapestry of beautiful, brilliant color, intertwining complexity, and yet the whole pattern is simplicity itself. You are weaving. The tapestry maker you are. You belong to the same club as the spider in that sense. You weave your own life, your own destiny, if you will, and you extend it out while you sit at the center of the tapestry you create all around you. Every thread needs to be there in order to create the whole picture. Otherwise, the web is unsupported. Every thread is a part of the whole tapestry. All the things that were negative in the past, not that you have to live them negatively again, but if you deny them as your foundation, you have nothing to stand on. And that is the thing that bothers you about the position of the spider. It can be anywhere.
Right.
Above you, hanging.
That's what I fear the most,
Yes.
when you're above.
To let you understand that you believe yourself to be unstable because you will not include the threads of your past that you believe were negative. Everything you have ever done has brought you to where you are. So look at either you understand them analytically or not, should be something other than a manifestation of your positive recognition of yourself and cannot be applied in that way. Did you get all that?
Yeah. So then just to sort of go with the flow.
To assume that you know what you are doing, always have, always will, and that anything you are attracting in your life, even though your outer aware ego consciousness may not be used to it, may not understand it for what it is, cannot really get an analytical grasp on it, that does not mean that the experience, just because it is unknown to you, has to be negative. Why assume it is negative if you know you're positive? Why not assume it is positive and then extract the positive effect from it? All situations being neutral and having no inherent meaning. No situation is inherently negative. No situation is inherently positive. Every situation gives up the effect you put into it in terms of the meaning you give it. So why assume it is negative and reap a negative effect? Why not assume it is positive and reap a positive one?
So I probably couldn't get hurt by
No.
this. Okay.
And ultimately, you are indestructible anyway. You are infinite and eternal. Nothing can destroy you, ultimately, in that sense. The only thing that fears destruction is the negative ego. Even that cannot be destroyed, but it can be allowed to harmonize as the natural ego, which is only a particular focus in a particular reality. That is all ego is. So if the negative ego can be told by loving it unconditionally that it is not going to die, it is not going to go into oblivion, but it will take its place alongside all the other aspects of your consciousness as an equal, then it will acquiesce. It will stop kicking and screaming and throwing a tantrum because it doesn't know what's going on. Just because it's not led on to every single little thing that happens in your life, because it has to know every little thing that's going to happen or it won't play along, doesn't mean you have to allow it to throw a tantrum. Love it, teach it, soothe it, let it know it's not going to be left out. And then allow it to learn that letting the energy in and knowing it is a positive thing will actually give it in its natural state, not its negative state, but its natural state, more power, self-empowerment. It may feel, as most negative egos do, that it is losing control, losing domination-style power over you, but what it is gaining is equal self-empowerment with all other levels of your consciousness. So talk to it. Love it. It is but a child, that is all. You follow me?
Yes.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Shedding.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you.
This is my first time here, and I'm very happy to meet you.
Oh, we are very ecstatic to meet you.
Thank you. I have been in a relationship for about 3 years that I am now exiting.
You are transforming it into something else.
Yes.
All right.
And I have worked for about 4.5 months on my own stability, and I'm just now feeling very stable where I am.
All right.
But I feel there's a lot more to be had, and I have no idea what direction to go at this point.
What excites you the most in life?
Productivity, but I don't know what the object is about.
Yes, you do.
I do.
You are fooling yourself. Have you ever sat down, taken a moment, and decided what really excites you in life? And once you have decided the things that really excite you, not invalidated them because your society has told you that's no way to make a living? You do know what excites you the most, but you may not have been taught to think it's a viable lifestyle.
Okay.
Now, what
People
excites
do
you the
excite
most?
me. People excite me, but I don't know how to make a living out of people exciting me. Sales.
Can you
All right.
picture?
Sales excites me, but I don't know what to sell.
How about you?
Well, in sales, you have to sell yourself, but
Yes.
something has to be the base of what you're selling besides yourself. I don't know where to go with it.
Do you trust that that is really what excites you the most? Yes or no?
Yes?
All right. Oh, is that a question?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Then, here is the mechanism. Very simple, very clean. When you determine what excites you the most, if you don't immediately see the opportunities to allow you to do that specific form of excitement, act upon whatever opportunities present themselves in your life that carry excitement that you can act upon, and they will lead you into circumstances that give you the ability to act upon anything else that excites you. Because all excitement is a thread, and it is connected to everything else that excites you. You follow me?
Yes.
It is very simple. Very simple. Act upon the opportunities that automatically present themselves in your life that excite you the most, that you have the capability of acting upon, and they will lead you automatically, coincidentally, synchronistically, into the circumstances necessary for you to acquire whatever skills or abilities or objects you need to do anything else that excites you the most that you may not at first have the ability to act upon. All excitement is the same excitement. It is all connected and will always funnel you into another exciting endeavor, and along the way give you the ability to do the next exciting step.
That makes sense.
That's all there is to it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And at this timing, it is kind of timing to say good day. And to remind you once again, you have the answers. You are the answers. You are the lives you prefer to live. Live them. In the living, all understanding comes out spontaneously. You are the instincts you need to be. You are the intuition. Live boldly the things that excite you, and your world, like ours, will become an ecstatic explosion of synchronous occurrence. We thank you for your willingness to open your hearts, our unconditional love to you all. We thank you for allowing us to experience the great gift of your consciousness and allowing us to see that many more ways that infinite creation has of manifesting itself through you. We thank you for your sharing. Next week of your time, Kachina Dreams. Good day.